Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 6 of History 310 Online. This week we study the age of the American Revolution, a critical time in early American history in which the 13 English colonies first asserted and then fought a war for sovereign independence. Now, while the American Revolution is a phrase familiar to Americans today, what I've noticed in my years as a history professor is that as a historical subject, the American Revolution is only vaguely remembered and poorly understood by most Americans. And as a story, it has been rendered very simplistic and distorted in the service of promoting national pride and patriotism. The spirit of 76, in other words, is as likely to be an advertising slogan as it is the entry point for a serious discussion of the American Revolution. So we will approach the whole business with an eye toward understanding the rich complexity of the Revolutionary era, including its twists and turns. For starters, we'll set aside the notion that the colonists long suffered under English tyranny and couldn't wait to become free Americans, and instead recognize that the last wish of most colonists, right to the very last minute, as it were, was to lose affiliation with England, the much admired mother country, or to lose the unique and considerable advantages enjoyed by colonists that came with being a member of the British Empire. Independence was almost an afterthought, a decision made in the very late stages of an imperial crisis that suddenly left some American colonists feeling that there was no alternative. Now, how different that picture is than the one we usually get from childhood of liberty-loving American patriots rejecting the heavy hand of British government to forge ahead with a revolution that promised liberty for everyone. Well, that's a myth of America's birth, one that dies hard. Let's keep in mind, too, that the crisis of empire that ultimately provoked the independence movement was never simply a two-sided contest of us versus them. There were many players in the whole affair, Europeans, including Englishmen, but also French, Spanish, Dutch, a diverse array of Native Americans, and of course Africans, nearly 500,000 of whom were enslaved in the colonies and making their own decisions about independence. Remember also that the colonists of whatever stripe were themselves deeply divided, and it was never easily assumed that the colonies could effectively unite on behalf of independence. But rather, like John Adams said, it was like getting 13 different clocks to chime at the same time. In some respects, the Revolutionary War was as much a civil war as it was a war of colonists versus English. Even those colonists who united together as patriots did so for different reasons and with different material interests at stake. So let's take another look at the foundational event in our nation's history, the American Revolution, and keep track of the ways that mythology has distorted that history. By now in the semester, I've had a chance to score and comment on a couple of your submissions. I've enjoyed reading your work, and as always, thanks for your patience in awaiting that feedback. I'm anxious to see you go to that next level of historical understanding. So please take my comments to heart and work to improve your historical analysis. I've offered you an extra credit quiz opportunity this week, and you're invited to take up that offer and earn some extra points toward your final grade. Check the Week 6 announcement and module for details, and email me if you have questions. Have a great week, everyone.